Alright, let's talk sports. More often than not, sports are team-oriented, and so you have to rely on your teammates if you want to win. It's as if the players themselves are pieces on a chessboard working together to reach checkmate. Simply put, with teamwork comes success, and with success comes victory. But what if such a concept never existed? What if one player, one star, could bring home the cup through his very own merits? I give you such a scenario. You're in the finals for the World Cup, playing under the eyes of 80,000 spectators. You, not anyone else, but you are on that field. The score is 0-0, the clock's ticking and soon the match will end. This is the final play. Then you receive a pass from a teammate and now it's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. You notice there's another teammate nearby and chances are, if you pass, you'll probably score. The hopes of your entire team, the hopes of your entire country rests upon you. Under such pressure, your decision will make or break the entire series and will essentially be the turning point for the finals. Throwing away all logic, you decide to carve your own path. A path in which you take the possibility of winning and turn it into an absolute truth. Without hesitation, you shoot. This is a story about someone striving to become such a player. The story of Blue Lock.
俺が世界一になる。俺は俺のゴールで勝ちたい。ブルーロック。潔、ビビってんの？ここはワクワクするとこでしょ。俄然燃えてきた。俺がお前に勝って下僕にしてやんよ。どけ！俺がキングだ。てめえを王座から引きずり下ろす。俺が最強。俺がキング。俺が勝つ。世界一は俺だ。俺が世界一のストライカーになる。ブルーロック。
Now, with that being said, you're probably not actually a power-crazed person who would risk a finals game all for the sake of becoming a star. However, on the off chance that you are, if you also happen to harbor some juicy tender thighs on your person, then I'll gladly let you step on me. But in any case, Blue Lock is an atypical sports manga. Compared to its contemporaries like Haikyuu or Kuroko no Basket, its approach to the sports genre is new, and from what I'm aware, the first of its kind. You see, one of my favorite pastimes is playing with my balls, and Blue Lock is a manga about soccer, a game focused on the art of fondling balls, except with your legs. And so our interests align. But that's not what makes Blue Lock so interesting. In any sports manga, teamwork is one of, if not the biggest component of the story. By building chemistry, understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses, and building upon them, the team grows. And as the team develops that connection with one another, they encounter stronger foes. These new foes in turn lead to even more growth as individuals, but more so as a team. Without the parts, you can't create the whole. After all, each and every piece to the puzzle matters. Blue Lock throws that notion right out the window. It says screw teamwork, your quote-unquote team is complete dogshit and keeps inting the malfight, and now you have to rise to the occasion and 1v9. In other words, it replaces companionship and camaraderie with individualism and ego. Rather than focusing on team play, it instead focuses on individual drive/talent. And that's why Blue Lock is so fascinating, especially within the sports genre. It tackles the genre from a new perspective and in essence it feels fresh. Meet Isagi Yoichi, an aspiring soccer player who unfortunately lost the finals to reach nationals. But there's still hope. You see, he's received an invitation to participate in Blue Lock, a prison-like facility where 300 talented strikers from all over the country are gathered and matched against each other. The sole survivor of this program will not only acquire the skills to play amongst the best of the best, but will also have the privilege to play for the national team. However, the catch is, everyone else will forever be unable to play professionally ever again. Now, with that short description out of the way, you might be a little confused. A sports manga throwing away the idea of friendship and team play sounds like complete stupidity. And that's because how well a team can cooperate and synergize with one another is an aspect that is inherently engraved within sports. It's a given. Yet, Blue Lock instead emphasizes the idea of creating a superstar, a player so far and above everyone else that he, by his own skill and mechanical genius, leads the team to victory. Regardless of how competent the team is, he will succeed. Now, that may sound like complete BS, and honestly, it is. Almost every sport is a team game. That's simply a matter of fact. And in the case with soccer, it's a game played by 11 people. No matter how talented a player may be, one player cannot stand alone versus a complete whole. Without a team, you're essentially doomed for failure. But despite that fact, Blue Lock's take is something filled with intrigue and unknowns. In a setting where, rather than helping each other, the players are competing against one another, they're forced to adapt and evolve. If the individual falls behind, then he will be evicted from Blue Lock and lose all hopes of ever standing on the field again. and so it's an absolute must for that individual to progress. In some way, in some manner, they have to reach new heights. That's the case for Isagi. He's someone who, from a technical standpoint, is inferior to the peers surrounding him, but he has a drive, a dream to become the greatest striker in Japan. And so, in order to do that, even if the road ahead is filled with obstacles, he resolves to advance to the top. Along the way, he makes friends, companions, and people who he considers to be teammates. Now, I know I said Blue Lock throws aside the idea of teamwork, but that doesn't mean that this manga is devoid of it. It's just that the way it tackles that aspect is very distinct. Each and every player within Blue Lock all had the same goal. Like Isagi, they all desire to become the strongest. And while in some ways they rely on each other, their end goal is strictly to better themselves. For them, just winning a match isn't enough. Winning doesn't mean that they've improved. If they won because someone else in the team had the talent and skill of a star player, then they've failed to accomplish what they set out to do. In that case, they're not number one. Instead, someone else claims that throne. And so what each individual is trying to overcome is not just the team before them, but also themselves. If they're weak, they have to get stronger, and if they're already strong, they have to go even further beyond. Winning a match is just one part of that equation. Now let's focus back on Isagi. Isagi is not physically strong, but he's also not weak. Whether it be in power, endurance, or footwork, he's simply average, nothing more, nothing less. And so, as he faces opponents that are far larger, faster, and more skillful than him, he has to evolve to keep up. The question is, how does he manage to do so? Well, for Isagi's case, he constantly conjures up methods and techniques to counteract whoever lies before him. With each second that passes, with each step that he takes, he's continuously thinking of ways to improve and in turn score. This leads to a lot of psychological warfare. How will he win? How will he improve? What's he lacking? What does he have to do in order to become the greatest striker in the world? And this mixture of sports and psychology is executed incredibly well. It's something that's thoroughly entertaining, as Isagi's put under the stress and pressure of the reality in which he may never be able to play soccer again. We see him go through multiple stages of self-discovery, finding qualities within himself that he never knew he had. And with each revelation, he refines his skill set more and more. On top of that, it leads to a chain reaction in which as he grows, the players surrounding him grow. And as they grow, he grows even more. This back and forth cycle makes for a story that's constantly trying to find ways to one-up the previous play. And because what follows is something that always furthers the current status of the team, each match is an amalgamation of pure hype and excitement. In my case, I've been enjoying my read basically the entire way through, and I find myself looking forward to each and every match that proceeds. Another aspect that's... Holy shit, I'm hungry. Another aspect that's really interesting to see is the use of tactics. Whether it be through a single player's merit or through a combo attack consisting of multiple, every new tactic adds a new element of surprise. And the tactics mean so much more because of the way they come to exist. Normally, a plan comes to fruition through teamwork. However, in Blue Lock, it comes to existence through an individual player discovering a new talent. And through these realizations, the player creates a chemical reaction with another, and in turn, indirectly unlocks the other person's latent potential as well. The end result leading to these new unlocked skills being combined and utilized to win. What's more is the characters themselves are never stagnant. They always strive for more and will do whatever it takes to achieve their goals. Now, I'll acknowledge that certain side or supporting characters are one-dimensional and fall under certain archetypes, but the main cast and the standout rivals each have some quality unique to themselves that make the character interactions very interesting. Bachira is one example of that. He's a character who simply plays for the thrill of the game. He derives enjoyment from facing strong adversaries and constantly searches for someone who can satiate that thirst. When he does meet such a person, he feels a sense of bliss and exhilaration. In such matches, he surpasses his limits and continues to look for even stronger foes. His personality is very quirky and there's also a level of complexity to him, but that goes into spoiler territory. Rin is another character that I find interesting. He's essentially a version of Isagi that's better in every way. They both have the same skill sets, but Rin is simply a superior player. As such, specifically for Isagi, he serves as a perfect foil, as a perfect antagonist. Obviously, if I were to compare Blue Lock's characters to something like Haikyuu, they aren't as well written or developed, but they're still a solid cast with traits that differentiate them, each giving a new perspective on soccer and the art of playmaking. But as far as my personal feelings go, in terms of pure enjoyment and feelings of hype, moments that give me chills, Blue Lock has impacted me much more in that department compared to Haikyuu. That doesn't add or take away anything from either series, as I think both are amazing, but that was just my experience. With all that being said, Blue Lock is a sports manga that you may want to give a shot. If it gets an anime and the anime does it justice, I easily see it becoming the next big craze, at least in terms of sports. But aside from that, it's a really good, entertaining, and fun read. As long as you're willing to suspend your disbelief in regards to the team versus individualism aspect, you'll probably find yourself immersed within the story and constant sense of progression. It delivers an immense thrill, and the hype found within Blue Lock is very evident, with scenes and panels that will get your adrenaline pumping. I guarantee Blue Lock will have you filled with anticipation. Alright, that is going to be the end of this video. Like usual, if you guys want to see more, then, leave a like or subscribe. Boost my ego a little bit. But, yo, we hit 100 subs over this week, and that was awesome to see. So, I'm going to keep trying to push out videos, hopefully by next week or the week after. As of right now, I've been going at a weekly schedule, but I think realistically, long term, I'll probably go 2 weeks. Unless I push out less edited videos. But yeah, I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.